The Feeder Saga. General trigger warning. Some content part of the story was removed due to problems related to doxing in original poster regards. Severely obese employee has been causing issues at my business. She told us it was medical. Just found out she's a feeder. Help. Alright. So I know this is really bizarre, and to be truthful, I am totally stumped on my rights, what I can do as an employer in this case. I run an event planning business. I have 15 employees and rent a small office space in a building with 4 other offices in related fields. Each business owner bought the building in 2005 as joint owners because our businesses intended to work together from the start, and it's been wildly successful. In 2010 I hired a woman we'll name Sarah. Sarah is a perfectly nice human being. And for years of her employment there was no issues. Full disclosure. Sarah has never been a small woman. I would estimate her weight around 230 pounds when I hired her, but that was never an issue until 2016. At the end of 2013 Sarah went through a bad divorce. And so when she met a nice guy in 2014, we were all very happy for her. She's always been a really private person. But she couldn't help herself talking about him around the office. And by the middle of 2015 they got married. Around early 2016 was when Sarah began experiencing what she told me was health issues diagnosed by a doctor. She began to absolutely balloon in weight over time. I never pushed further, both because her health insurance isn't through my company insurance, it's through her new husband, and because my employees' health issues are none of my business. I assumed she had a thyroid disorder personally, because my mother had something similar happen at a similar age to Sarah. Sarah keeps putting on weight. And putting on weight. Our office has stairs that lead to the main door, and when Sarah could no longer properly use the stairs, I paid for an elevator upgrade from our business, only we have a vintage building that had a scary older elevator to accommodate her in 2016. I also purchased her a chair for her weight rating. A desk with more space. And have also at times been very lenient on our sick leave policy for her because I was still under the impression this was a medical issue, and she'd been such a good employee for years. As a good employer, I wanted to make accommodations for what I thought was an embarrassing medical issue. She did request the elevator be updated and the chair. But I offered the desk and a few extra paid days off when she said she was feeling ill. Now is the part where this gets kind of bonkers. And a good time to mention I am a part of our local kink community. None of my employees know this. As for my reputation locally, me and my husband keep it very private. I was browsing FetLife and came across a profile and instantly recognized Sarah. Her and her husband have a profile with many pictures going back to 2016 chronicling their feeder journey. Sarah doesn't have a medical condition. So now I am furious. I've spent about $9,200 in accommodations, elevator update, chair, desk, and another $300 in paid time off for this woman thinking she was ill. And she had done this on purpose and lied to me. What can I do? Can I fire Sarah? I don't even want to look at her right now. If I fire her, can she file a disability complaint? Can I report this as fraud? Do I sue her? We do have a company lawyer. However, he is on vacation for the next 2 weeks. His partner said he may be able to look at this for me. However, he is swamped and said he might not be able to get to it before our usual lawyer would be back. This is why I am coming here. As at this point I am considering even putting her on paid leave if I have to, so I don't have to pretend like nothing is wrong for 2 weeks. Update. Edit. I've received a few messages and read a few Bola comments saying I should out Sarah. Even by doing it secretly. That is absolutely out of the question. Please stop messaging and commenting to that effect. Hey everyone. I really didn't expect to have an update so soon. But my husband found something new last night, and I just spent 2 hours on a Skype call with my lawyer while he's on vacation. Bless his heart, so here we are. I'd also like to thank everyone who left comments in my last thread, and helped me come around to waiting for my lawyer even if it didn't go that way in the end. The majority of you were really kind and informative. Also, my last post was at risk for doxing according to mods. So I am going to be much more vague with this one on location's website data. Mods. If you want something else changed, please let me know. So, on to this weekend's events. Lots of people were saying my best bet at this point would be gathering together the evidence of sick days lining up with photo shoots. So I brought all my work files home and started to go at it. Eventually I got too emotionally tired and started crying. And so my husband took over to do some of the matchup work for me. He was already aware of what was going on, as he was present when I found Sarah and her husband's pictures online. While I had taken a bunch of screenshots, I really had avoided looking at the actual pictures out of a mix of awkwardness, anger, and fixated on the dates listed more. However, at one point my husband called me over and asked me to look at a particular set. Because of our field, my office has a large storeroom where we keep items used for setup. One of her picture sets had been taken in this storeroom over the weekend and had a title somewhere along the lines of naughty work, but not that. To give a bit of an idea of how this was even possible, my building doesn't have key locks, we have a code pad system. My employees all have the codes. And it's not uncommon for any of my employees to visit the office on a weekend to do extra work, or even just grab something they forgot to take home. All of that data is saved, however. So I then pulled the keypad records from our server, and sure enough, her code was used the day before the album was posted. At this point I am ashamed to say I lost it pretty hard and started screaming at the screen. It took a few hours for me to calm down. And then I called my lawyer on his personal cell phone, which he said is allowable in an emergency. He picked up. I gave him a short rundown, and he told me to give him a half hour to finish lunch, and then he'd call me right away. I laid everything out for him. He tactfully avoided asking me how I found this profile aside from, did someone send this to you? Did you have reason to look for it? Or did you find it accidentally? Which was nice of him, and then asked him what we could do. My lawyer has said we have absolute cause to fire her without worrying about a rebuttal of this being because of her condition weight gain. And that the best thing will be to have security at the door Monday waiting for her with everything at her desk boxed up and a formal letter of her termination. He then suggested something I hadn't even thought about, which was needing that storeroom professionally cleaned. They used a plastic sheet, but still. And how to recover the cost of that from Sarah, as well as sending off a takedown request for the album, as my company logo is visible in at least 2 portions of it. He did tell me any of the accommodations I gave her without asking for a letter of disability were on me and not pursuable. At this point I'll probably just get the cost of cleaning that store room professionally and getting rid of Sarah, which is fine with me. My lawyer said he will be reaching out to a friend or two for help, as he's never faced anything quite like this. I told him that I could believe that, and that I was sorry to have to bring this to him. He joked that it was going to be one hell of a case study someday, and that if I need him for anything else related to this before he's back, to give him a call. As for me, I am going to take 3 days off work after letting Sarah go to process my hurt feelings like some of you suggested. Then I am going to have to install a full camera system in my office space, start building a new set of our policies, and look for someone to fill Sarah's position. Again, thank you all for the advice you gave me, even though I didn't end up needing it. Final update. A lot of people asked to know how it went Monday, and I am both glad and sad to say Sarah has been let go without much ado. I went into work early Monday morning and carefully packed and wrapped all of Sarah's stuff. She had a lot of knickknacks. Deactivated her door access codes and her employee email login. Took her name off all our official stuff as an employee, and then was waiting with security when Sarah showed up for work. I handed her the letter checked and cleared by my lawyer late Sunday night, and then the security guard handed her the box of her stuff. She opened the letter and quickly read through it, and I watched all the color drained from her face when she saw the date I listed for the misuse of company property. I don't want to quote the letter too heavily for privacy. But it also said that she would receive her final paycheck via mail, with the $200 removed for the professional floor cleaning, and that all material produced and resulting from the misuse of company property needed to be removed from any online or physical media within 3 days, or I would have to pursue legal action. At this point Sarah started to cry, and it absolutely broke my heart. But she didn't make any argument, she didn't even say anything at all, but just handed over her employee badge, and then she went back to her car sobbing without any incident. I went back inside and broke the news to everyone else that Sarah had been caught in the misuse of company property and I had to let her go, and that a camera system would be installed this coming Friday. Everyone was pretty shocked, but I asked them to please refrain from discussing the incident as it was a confidential employment matter, and they all agreed. Most of them just wanted to make sure I was okay, as apparently I looked a mess. I am taking my 3 days off work now, at home with my husband and our dog. I checked her FetLife account late Monday night, and the photo set taken in the office has been wiped. Someone suggested I take my account offline for a bit, so I did since I don't use it much anyways. I have cried a lot the past couple days now that the anger has pretty much gone out. Overall I still feel terrible about everything, but I suspect that will die out over time. Again, thanks for all the sound advice and surprisingly deep support I received here. I know most of you are in it for the craziness of the journey, but everything you did is still appreciated. Second update. So for those of you saying this wasn't over, I am really unhappy to say you were right. At this point I really just wish this was over. I am so overwhelmed and drained. Writing it all out has really helped me out. And I know you guys like knowing the ending to stories, so I hope no one minds another update. Again, thanks for all of your support during this. I do read everything in Bola. I just don't reply unless I see people really confused about something. Now on to the update. Saturday Sarah's husband showed up at our building after dark, broke into the entranceway, and was in the process of trying to break into our offices when the police showed up and arrested him. Thankfully the cleaner was in the upstairs hallway and heard him smash the lock on the door in order to get into the initial entranceway, then hid and called the cops. According to the police he had a gasoline canister with him, and they believe his intention was arson as retaliation for us firing Sarah. They wouldn't say much besides the base facts. However, from what I gather and also what the cleaner told me afterwards, he apparently flipped out when the cops showed up and was yelling incoherently. The police called me and had me come into the station and relay my full story. It was awful and honestly really embarrassing. At this point they said there'll need to be an arraignment which I won't be involved in, and then most likely a trial, which I may be required to be a part of before we know what happens to him. But that they would update me as the case moves along when they can, like if he gets out on bail, etc. The police are charging Sarah's husband with a handful of things: breaking and entering, attempted arson, apparently assaulting an officer, and a few others. However, my husband said we could probably recover the damages of the busted door as well. I also got together an emergency meeting for all the building business owners and informed them of what had gone on, just the basics on Sarah's firing, not the details. And our business offered to hire a nighttime security guard for the next little while, which they agreed would be prudent. I feel really terrible about this now affecting them. All of them could have lost their livelihoods. They were really nice about everything, but I can't help feeling like crap. I sent all of this information off to our lawyer, but haven't heard back from him as he's still on vacation. We've still not heard anything from Sarah either, though all of her social media is gone, not blocked. We checked through an account she would have no reason to block, as well as her account on the website with the fetish photos. I honestly have no idea if she had anything to do with this or not. So that's it. I'll see if I can update when everything is wrapped up, though some of you mentioned my lawyer may have me take these posts down. but if I am able to, it probably won't be for a while the police and courts do their thing. Another final update. So when I went to post this to our legal advice, and the moderators banned me, citing that this never happened. I apologize. Said I understand if they don't want me posting, but I'd rather not leave this without a conclusion, so could I provide a picture of a redacted court document or something similar as proof? And then they muted me from being able to message them. So I thought I'd post it on my profile for anyone that would like to know what happened. By Reddit. Now the post. Too long, didn't read. Husband is in jail. Sarah's parents came and got her. And I am doing all right. Oh. And importantly, we had the cleaner out for a nice day and paid her for it. I don't want to post too much more. But I also didn't want to leave this hanging without a conclusion, after all the people that rallied to support me here. So I am going to be brief and not give as many specific details. Went to court over the husband's attempted arson. Apparently he went off and was crazy while in lockup with the police as well. We learned that apparently when questioned by the police, Sarah had no idea he was going to do this. He just said he was going to get takeout and left his going away for a while. So I am not too worried there. Not everything had to come out in court according to my lawyer. And knowing Sarah had no idea this was going to happen, I chose not to talk about everything that happened beforehand when I gave my testimony. It was basically kept to I terminated his wife for being in the office after hours for personal use unauthorized. I just didn't have it in me to ruin someone's life like that by putting what happened on court record. The husband also didn't say anything about it, and was very quiet and meek in court. So I think his lawyer got to him. Security has been updated at my building. All of the other owners were very nice and pitched in. We, being me and another female owner who was grateful our business didn't burn down, took a Redditor's advice and hired the cleaner for an afternoon, but instead took her to lunch. Then to the spa. And then handed her pay for the hours worked. She is a very sweet woman. Someone we don't know who. As it wasn't us called Sarah's family in all of this. She had been estranged from them for a while. I've heard secondhand that 3 days after the incident with her husband, Sarah's father and mother showed up. They lived 12 hours away. They stayed long enough to get permission from the police for her to leave the province. Packed up her things and left with her. I have no idea where she is now or what she's up to. I upped my therapy. Had a lot of anxiety over court, but am doing all right now. My husband has been a superstar in all of this. This didn't blow up in the media or anything like some Redditors suggested, which terrified me. So I am extremely grateful. My other employees seem to have pieced together something of what happened, but no one said a peep to me. So that's it. Ended with not much of a bang, and I am thankful for that. My business is all right and I am all right. And that's really good. Thanks again for all the support. I really hope that Sarah got whatever help she needed to do better in life. I can't help but wondering if she had such low self-esteem that she just went along with whatever her shithead husband wanted to keep him in her life. And I have to say that the OP was such a class act with her actions and staunch commitment to being empathetic and doing things the right way every step of the way. I can't imagine the roller coaster it must have been for her. What's with her being banned from legal advice? I am sure a heavy dose of that happened gripped them. But also, they don't want to deal with reports, so they just ban users whose content might generate them. You can't actually have a discussion with them because then they'll just mute you. The mods of legal advice are known to be absolute ducks. Most of them aren't even lawyers. They're cops cosplaying on Reddit. The combination of first being accused of almost doxing someone, and then being accused of fabricating everything is weird, I guess. Honestly, I feel that the real villain in the story is Sarah's arsonist husband. It seems everything started to go to shit right when they got married. And it's possible he had a strong influence on her bad decisions. With the way her parents came and got her, I am sure he was. Classic overwhelmer situation. Picks a woman who has been divorced. Gets her away from her parents' influence by manipulating her. Tells her he not only finds her more beautiful because of being overweight, but he knows where she can get a ton of validation from other men on the internet who'll pay for pictures of her enjoying her favorite food, etc. I was enthralled from start to finish. My jaw dropped several times. Thanks for putting this together, OP. Now I'm going to go look up what the hell is a feeder. I can imagine. But I'm curious. Update. Feeder those who become solely aroused by feeding their partners and encouraging them to gain weight. Sometimes to a state of immobility, and feedee individuals who are aroused by their own weight gain or being forced to eat. The more you know. I don't want to be human anymore. Bye. My usual opinion on most kinks is to live and let live. But the feeder kink seems kind of off to me. Feels like probably a lot of people with low self-esteem let themselves be physically destroyed by their partner in order to appease their fetish. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.